Economic policy is going to be a big issue over the next several years. The economy has sort of just bumped along the bottom for the past several years, ever since the economic downturn. It seems like something radically different needs to take place in order to make things better. Your proposal for a flat tax is something that would be a major change. Why do you think that's so important? What do you think the practical effect would be?
Thanks for asking that, because the issue of what to do with the economy, the analogy I use is like an old TV set, which used to have these knobs. And in the old days, you would turn the knobs just slightly or move the ears for the reception. We need an entire new TV, and our tax code is the worst of it. It's 77,000 annotated pages of political benefits. That's not about collecting money. That's about dispensing favors. And if we're going to get this economy moving again, we need to scrap the tax code, put in a flat tax, and restore incentives. So the number one reason for the tax code is to get the economy moving again. We've had 4 major income tax reforms in our history in the 20s. The 60s at the behest of JFK, John Kennedy, during the 80s, and just over a decade ago. All 4 times, those in favor of bigger government said the tax cuts wouldn't work, that they would result in less revenue, not more. All 4 times they were enacted when the economy was weak. And you know what happened? Each time they were enacted, the economy turned around in a big fashion. Each time more people went to work. And revenues actually jumped 61% in the 20s, 62% in the 60s, 98% under Reagan, and even more if you take it out over time. And just over a decade ago, just with a small income tax cut, they rose over 30%. It defied the odds, or at least in the minds of people like the New York Times, because they don't understand that when you restore incentives, you can get the economy moving again. So the number one reason is to get the economy moving again. But you know what else we need to do? We need to stop this class warfare, which has become America today. Class warfare rises when the economy stagnates. Because when you're fighting for the same piece of pie instead of a larger, growing economy, that pits Americans against each other for jobs. So what we need to do is grow the economy and create more opportunity. That will reduce the class warfare that's occurring in America today because the economy is so stagnant. And number 3, and this is especially true for Republicans, they go to Washington, they campaign saying the Democrats are wrong and big government is wrong. And then what happens? They go to Washington and it doesn't seem like they do anything at all. Well, they need to start reducing government and keeping their word. And the first place to reduce is the IRS. A flat tax would mean many less IRS workers. And it will tell people, look, we said we wanted to reduce government. You sent us to Washington. We put in a flat tax. We reduced the size of government. The economy boomed and things are better off. So now that you trusted us with this authority, we acted on it. And now it's time for us to do the next step. And we'll reform the VA. We'll reform the post office. We'll reform the Department of Education and the like. If we can do those things as a country, that'll be better. And Republicans need to go to Washington and keep their promise of making government leaner and better instead of just getting elected and getting along with other big government politicians.